The portal's been open for 2 days. I still feel good about where Auburn's at.
Listen, put me in the parking lot, with Bears, and I'll go out there and play. It don't matter.
You are Locked On Auburn, your daily podcast on the Auburn Tigers. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Yes, welcome on into Locked On Auburn, your daily Auburn Tigers podcast. I'm your host, Zac Blackerby, and thank you so much for making Locked On Auburn your first listen every single day. Joining me, as he does every Wednesday, Mike G of the War Rapport. Happy War Rapport Wednesday to all who celebrate. Mike G, yesterday on the show, I felt pretty good about where Auburn was one day into this portal session. Now, as we sit with 2 days behind us, I still feel great about it. Similar reasons as I said yesterday, Mike G. Auburn has lost no starters to the portal, and it seems like some of the guys that may have been fringe guys, you kind of get the feeling they may have been processed out or kind of asked to kind of find home elsewhere. And since then, Marquis Robinson has entered the portal, which probably could have been a guy that saw more time next year. And then Jordan Ingram, who I didn't really see him having a clear path to playing time regardless. So
yeah, running back is tough.
Yeah, 2 days into it, I think Auburn's still in a good spot.
Yeah, listen, Auburn is in a unique position as it pertains to the portal with the coaching change. So there were some kids who, again, didn't get a lot of burn or didn't see the vision under the last staff, Zach. And with Hugh Freeze coming in, it changes the calculus for them. Now they can start to consider, hey, let me reevaluate whether I fit in this new system, because a lot of kids are getting, the slate reset for them under Hugh Freeze to be reevaluated and try to, re-earn a spot, in the two deep.
Yeah, and Marquis Robinson, with all the guys leaving among the defensive line, he's an interior guy, and the two guys in front of him, I don't think are leaving. Jayson Jones being one of them. Marcus Harris might go to the draft. I don't think he's going to. I don't know how smart that would be. We'll see. But so you're still going to be a reserve guy at best, but you got to think over the next few days, Hugh Freeze and company, they're going to be going after offensive linemen and a ton of defensive linemen as well. So just looking at all the guys in the portal, Mike G, I can't really make an argument with the exception of maybe DeZalen Worsham, of guys that I think could have emerged into something at some point in their Auburn career, just because DeZalen had so much time left, eligibility left. But still, like, his path to playing time was so tough. And I kind of wonder, like, how much his coaching staff wanted him there.
Well, it's been said that Auburn has offered Ra Thomas from Mississippi State.
Yeah. And,
that would be a big pickup in the portal. So maybe the writing was on the wall a little bit for him. I kind of feel like the wide receiver room is stacked. Just a lot of guys didn't get a lot of burn because the passing game wasn't there. That we couldn't get them the ball. I'm with you. Outside of Worsham, there wasn't a lot. There's not been a lot so far. I mean, we've had more notable returns than we have had departures, if you ask me, when it comes to Auburn. So, every team is going to experience some level of attrition through the portal. And I agree, Zach, so far through a couple of days, Auburn's not really feeling the attrition so far in a negative way.
No, but, just to play devil's advocate, and I agree with you, I think Auburn's in a good spot as far as how the portal process is going. But a lot of the starters on this team are going pro or running out of eligibility, right? Auburn may be in a situation where they may have one guy on the team at offensive line that starts next year. Zaire's probably it. Your star running back's probably gone, right? We don't know that for sure at the time of us recording this, but Tank's probably gone. But Jarquez, you feel good about that. Jarquez is essentially a starter, right? Can we agree on that?
Yeah.
And you get your receivers back for the most part. You lose your most productive tight end, but it sounds like they've gone to the portal and they feel good about that tight end they're going to get. FIU, I think, is where he's from. But yeah, like, you're losing your defensive line, you're losing your pass rush, you're losing your linebackers. I just think you're going to be okay with corner. But I mean, there's a lot of dudes that are leaving, right? There's a lot of guys that are leaving. And so they've got a ton of ton of spots to fill. But fortunately, there's a ton of scholarships to go around. That's what makes these next 2 weeks so exciting.
So there was a reporter at Hugh Freeze's intro press conference that asked a question about the portal. And
who was that? I
don't know. He extremely handsome, nice voice, definitely returns his shopping carts. Sure. But a lot of questions were asked. And, I always try to redirect to football when we get too far off of that. So the question I had was about the portal. The last staff, and I thought it was a pertinent question, Zach, because the last staff did this really poorly, right? They did not get a lot of key portal pickups. And we always knew that this year was going to be a tough year in terms of attrition on the offensive line. Right. We knew this was coming, so this is definitely not a surprise. And I wanted to know what the strategy is for him hitting the portal to get these guys. Now, there are some guys in the portal. I think offensive line is one of those positions that's kind of tough in the portal because you're not seeing a lot of high-profile guys from that position group say, I want to go play somewhere else.
More, though, Mike G, than I thought you would.
Yeah, I mean, I think this year we might see more than last year. Mm-hmm. But, at the end of the day, this is going to be about evaluation. Right. How many guys are at smaller schools that hit the portal that the staff is evaluating as, potential contributors now at the P5 level? Can they do that well? Is their evaluation of the athletes, better than what we've seen over the last couple of years? Time will tell.
Yeah, and I think the evaluation of the recruits and of the transfers was fine. I think it took too long.
Right.
But you couldn't get him at positions that you really needed. But finding Darius Knighton was great. Finding, Tony Fair, is that the defensive tackle from UAB? Was that his name?
Yeah.
Like finding guys like that. I think for the most part, the transfers that the old staff brought in were good. It was just they were pieces. Like you need more than pieces right now. Like you need dudes that can come in and play right away. And on the flip side of that, Mike G, you're selling that. You're selling that to these guys that are in the portal is, hey, we need a guy to start, come in and compete and win the job. And look, right now, the guys you're competing with are either unproven dudes or walk-ons or true freshmen from a year ago, right? And so guys that have 2 years of experience at a smaller school, and it's yeah, okay, cool. Here's my chance to do all of this, which I think could be good as far as Hugh Freeze and the staff recruiting. And talking to folks close to the situation yesterday, I love how Hugh Freeze is going about this right now. Mm-hmm. I think a lot of Auburn fans are a little frustrated because they're like, where's the OC at DC? Come on, fill out the coaching staff.
OC not that important. I
agree with that. Yeah. From a recruiting standpoint, you kind of wonder, you got to be able to pitch, what kind of defense you're running, unless Hugh already knows that, right? But I do think that matters. But as far as how he's using his time, folks close to Freeze are telling me hey, he's recruiting 24/7, mm-hmm. but when he gets 5 minutes of spare time, maybe driving in the car or something, he that's when he's focused on talking to his staff and all that. He sees the urgency and the importance of roster management and talent acquisition. That just feels nice, Mike G. That just feels nice that's being valued.
Well, jumping back to something that you said earlier about him selling, you can come in and compete and win a job immediately.
Sure.
He is not only selling that, he's promising that. He has promised that.
Yeah, has to.
Yeah. Like prominently, he has promised that. And then for a guy who has touted his ability to be able to turn a program around quickly, he's got to know that the portal is important. It's going to be an important piece to that wasn't in place the last time he was a head coach in the SEC. Mm-hmm. Right? That's how you turn a program around quickly. Now, everybody else is utilizing the portal as well, too. So it's not like some big advantage that he has over everybody else. Can he make it one, though?
Yeah.
It's the question that a lot of fans are going to be looking at for Hugh Freeze and, how quickly, because, after his press conference, what I expect is maybe a rocky year one, or maybe an even better than we expected. Rocky to better than most expected year one, maybe. If he can find a dynamic, if Robbie Ashford comes along and they could do some things that cover the multitude of sins they're going to have on offense, maybe. right? And then in year 2, come November, they should be dead smack in the conversation for the SEC West crown.
I think they're 3 offensive linemen away from having a really good offense.
3, huh? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think Zaire's fine. Zier. Every broadcaster says his name differently. I don't know the answer to that. But I think if you get 3 more, I think you're okay. I really do.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Well, pass protect. You got to be able to pass protect better than you have before in the past. And I think
Freeze's scheme is going to help.
It's going to cover a lot of that. Yeah, I would agree with that.
I think so. I think Freeze with last year's offensive line, they look better.
Yeah, absolutely.
We saw that towards the end of the year.
Mm-hmm.
We saw that towards the end of the year when this coaching staff was kind of just saying, like, they were just kind of, let's get through the season or whatever. And the schemes elevated just a little bit, and Will Friend's play calling. We saw it there too. It's not like the offensive line just magically got better, but I think they were put in a little bit more positions to succeed. I think Hugh Freeze is going to do that. All right, I'm going to go ahead and ask you this question, and then I'm going to give you a second to think about it. Okay. Same with you watching and listening. Let's assume Auburn adds 15 guys in the portal over the next few weeks. Let's just assume that. Maybe a little higher, maybe a little lower. I think it's going to be a little lower. We'll have to wait and see. But let's assume 15. That's a number that a lot of people are throwing out there. I want you to think about how those 15 spots should be spread throughout the roster. How many quarterbacks you bring in, how many offensive linemen, how many defensive linemen. I want your thoughts on that in just a second, Mike G. And also in the comments down below, answer that. I think that'd be a fun conversation to have. Today's show is brought to you by our friends at LinkedIn. These days, every new hire could feel like a high-stakes wager for your small business. It's important, and you don't want to risk all of that. And so you need to check out our friends at LinkedIn Jobs. They equip you with so many things that a small business owner may not typically have access to, like screening questions and all of these kind of ways that they can scan through resumes. And look, at the end of it, if you put a job out there, which you can post for free at linkedinjobs.com/lockedoncollege, they'll narrow it down for you. If you have a few hundred apply, they'll be like, hey, these are, a much smaller number of folks that you need to look at. Be sure to check that out. So LinkedIn Jobs helps you find the qualified candidates you want to talk to faster. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/lockedoncollege. That's linkedin.com/lockedoncollege to post your job for free. Terms and conditions apply. Mike G of the War Rapport, our guest. All right, 15 spots.
Mm-hmm.
You taking a quarterback?
Yes. And again, what we're hearing is that Hugh Freeze has somebody in mind that he's familiar with, that he may want to bring in at that position to compete with the incumbent. So we'll see. But I think you definitely take a quarterback in the SEC.
Do you think they're similar to Robbie Ashford? Do you think they're a dual threat?
Yes, I do.
I do too.
And I think that if you have one quarterback in the SEC West these days, you're in trouble.
Do you think they played football in Atlanta?
Maybe.
Okay.
Maybe. So, yeah, I mean, we'll see. But like I said, I think you need more than one guy that can do the job. Think about all the notable injuries we've seen at that position, at a major contender.
Robbie had to play through it.
Yeah, he had to play through it. Hendon Hooker had a very unfortunate injury at the end of the season. It probably cost him a Heisman. And you just got to have multiple guys that could do the job. So, I got 14 spots left. One goes to a quarterback.
All right, running back.
I'm not sure this is dire in the portal. I don't know.
I'm with you. I don't think they need one.
I don't think you need a single one.
Especially with Cobb coming in too. You got Damari Austin. I think
you got
good.
You got stars there. You got Cobb coming in. There was some noise, Zach, about Tank coming back for another year, depending on his NFL draft evaluation.
Sure.
If that happens, you definitely don't need to take running back this year. So I got 0 slots slated for running backs. They're recruiting pretty well at that position.
All right, let's go wide receiver.
This is how we're doing it. Okay, so
what you want me to go somewhere else first? You want to go O-line first?
Well, yeah, let's do O-line.
Okay.
I need 4 O-linemen out of this portal.
4?
4.
Wow.
I need 4 O-linemen out of this portal. I need you to go in. I need you to hit the portal hard, Zach, for O-linemen. Like your life depended on it.
I'm with you, man.
Convince these guys to come in because, I mean, how many did we get out of the portal last year? 0?
I don't think Auburn has a transfer portal.
Out of the yeah, right.
Linemen.
Yeah. So no, go get some O linemen. You got to make up for last year and the year before that. Sorry to put that.
I want to correct myself. They technically have transfer linemen. Like Brandon Council technically was in the portal.
Okay.
Forever ago. But in this new version of college football, the last 2 years, they have not. In the free transfer era of college football, they have not gotten one.
Yeah, it hasn't been good. Go get the lineman that we need, Coach Freeze. It's, we're all living in the fro zone, baby. It's time. It's time. There's a freeze warning.
There we go.
Yeah, there's a freeze warning incoming, and it's going to be filled with O-linemen.
Do you want to do receiver next or tight end?
Let's go D-line.
Okay.
I think this is another position where you go out and you get 3 to 4 guys. I'm going to say 3.
Okay.
I'm going to say 3.
I'm with you on every spot so far. Yeah. By the way, 4 O-line may be a little high.
Yeah, but you got making up to do.
But so I'm not arguing with it. Yeah, I'm not arguing. You could say 5 or 6 O-line. I'd be like, I don't know, but like I get the argument behind it. So I'm totally cool with that. 3 defensive linemen. Are you counting edge rushers in this? Or these defensive end / interior? I
think 2 and 2 is. I mean, fill your needs, man. I mean, again, you're gonna have some attrition. You mentioned Marcus Harris and Jayson. Jayson Jones isn't going anywhere. He's coming back.
Right.
Marcus Harris, I'm not so sure about, but I know Jayson Jones is staying for sure.
Sure. Yeah. No, I'm there with you. Looks like Mba is staying as well. NC Sledge. I think he's going to have a bigger role next year. So we'll see. If you're counting defensive line and edge together, I'd actually probably say 5 here. I'd go
5?
Higher than you. Yeah.
Ooh. Okay. All right. Fair enough.
So that's a difference there. All right. Linebacker.
Linebacker. 2, maybe 1, 2.
Okay.
This is another one of these positions that you really want to get a hold of kids out of high school and kind of develop them in your system. A lot of talk has been made about OC, but I think the DC is going to be really important for the success of this team. And linebackers, man, are, in a lot of defenses, those are your captains on the field. Those are the guys making sure people are where they need to be. And you need smart linebackers who understand not only their assignment, but everybody else's assignment as well.
I'm really concerned about this position group.
Me too, because they already weren't great.
No, and you lost your best one.
Yeah, right.
And those guys were like a little bit better because Owen was on the field next to him, and Owen didn't have a great season until the end. I think we all agree on that, or at least one that he's capable of. And just thinking about Cam Riley being the dude, like, I don't like that. I don't like that at all.
Right. Listen,
I got 2 linebackers as well.
Because here's the deal. This is, of all the positions, this is the one that I feel like if you could go out and get a stud in the portal, I would like it to be at linebacker. Like if they had.
So you're at 10. You're at 10 right now.
I'm at 10. Okay, so we got 5 more guys.
We skipped tight end. It looks like they're going to bring a tight end in. Can I put you down for 1 there?
One.
Okay?
Yeah, I'm not worried about tight end. This is going to be tight end. It's going to be more about scheme than anything and how they distribute the ball.
So we're at 11, and we haven't discussed DBs or wide receivers.
Okay, so again, this is exactly where I wanted to be with skill positions. You're just 2 and 2, man. You got to go out and you got to find a dynamic.
Did they get 2 receivers?
Yeah, just find. One guy's going to be, he's going to be okay. But if you can go out and just find a dynamic playmaker at wide receiver, somebody who instantly energizes your passing game.
So last year and the year before, I was like, just get any receiver you can. Right. And I think in this era of college football, I think they've only gotten 1 transfer receiver. No, 2. I got Coy Moore and Demetrius Robertson. Is that it?
Would Dzala Worsham count?
I already forgot that he existed. Yeah, I guess he would count. So I guess I got 3.
Blotched him out of your memory.
Yeah. He's already gone again. So it doesn't even matter. I don't know. But so I guess they've gotten 3. And Demetrius Robertson was by far the best. I think Coy Moore has more upside.
For sure.
But like the offense stunk. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I think with wide receiver, I think they're going to be very picky. Like Ra Thomas, that makes sense. They get him from Mississippi State. I think that makes sense. But I don't think it makes sense to go get another number 2 wide receiver. I'd rather just I'd just rather throw it to Camden Brown 4 more times a game. You know what I mean? I would say 1 wide receiver.
Okay.
I would go 1 wide receiver, 3 DBs. You went 2 and 2. I would go 1 wide receiver.
2 and 2. Yeah.
And I'd honestly be okay going 0 and 4. 0 wide receivers, 4 DBs. If you didn't get that home run hit, because I don't think just adding another to Jalen War should help you.
Well, that's what I'm saying. One of those guys has to be a dynamic playmaker, though, right?
Yeah,
so maybe 1 and 3. I could go. Sure. I could settle with 1 and 3.
And DBs are going to be more likely to be used, right? Just because you play so many of them.
Yeah.
And he's going to play more receivers than we saw. He's not going to run 2 tight ends all the time. So, cool. I thought it was a fun exercise. I think we both agree on the state of the roster. We're both very concerned about the linebacker position. That's something everybody's so focused on the O-line. I think there's a higher chance that the O-line works out than the linebacking situation.
I would agree with that as well too.
We'll have to see. So, Mike G, before we jump into our conversation with Zep Jasper, how can people check out everything you got going on at the War Rapport?
Lots of stuff, man. Check us out every morning. We've got a new segment called the Morning Drop. We're coming at you guys 4 or 5 days a week. Just doing a little something on that end to keep up with the fast-paced, moving world of Auburn sports that is right now. So check us out on YouTube at thewarreport.com.
That's Mike G of the War Rapport. Be sure to support those guys. We can become good buddies with them. All right, Zep Jasper talks about this upcoming trip to Atlanta, take on Memphis. A lot of interesting stuff coming your way there. Today's show brought to you by our friends at Bet Online. Bet Online is the best place to wager on all of your football, betting, gambling needs. They even have things outside of sports if you're into that. But seriously, check them out. They've got all the props, odds, and lines that you could possibly imagine. And I'm looking forward to using their betting services throughout the College Bowl season. So check it out. Bet Online, it's where the game starts. Also, today's show brought to you by our friends at Alumni Hall. You can check out everything they have going on at alumnihall.com. But look, if you're an Auburn person, you're an Auburn fan, you want the best Auburn stuff for you and your family, your loved ones, your friends, whoever it may be. All of their stuff is officially licensed through the university, and it's good, high-quality stuff. You don't have to worry about colors fading or the interlocking AU falling off of the shirt. It's good stuff. And look, it's the holiday season. They've got a lot of great deals at Alumni Hall and alumnihall.com to buy whatever you need for the Auburn fan in your life this holiday season. Their physical store that I go to all the time is in Tigertown in Opelika, in the Auburn, Opelika, Lee County area. Or if you live out of town and you have a hard time finding good Auburn stuff, go to their website, alumnihall.com. And now joining us as he does every single week here on the show, Auburn guard Zep Jasper. Zep still undefeated, heading to Atlanta this weekend for a little hoops giving action, taking on some other Tigers, Memphis. How you feeling about this hoops giving event that'll have a lot of eyeballs this weekend?
Well, it's always a great event, playing in, your home state, having most of the guys being from Georgia, playing on the biggest stage, State Farm Arena. That's a dream come true, having a big arena, playing in a big arena, playing against Penny Hardaway team, NBA coach. He's coached a well team this year. I think they're like 6-2 or 6-3. But it's just like it's gonna be a fun event this Saturday, and I can't wait for Auburn fans to pack it out to show who are the real Tigers, and it's just gonna be it's gonna be a good one.
So you guys played in this event last year. You guys took on Nebraska. I would think that would be helpful, right? You guys have played in this arena before. You've been, kind of been able to see how this is different than just a normal like home game or an away game. How do you expect, what you learned last year about kind of the elements of this will help on Saturday?
Well, my biggest thing is, last year we coming into this game, we didn't know really how the atmosphere was going to be. We didn't know how our fans was going to show up. We were just coming in, looking to play Nebraska, in State Farm Arena you see Trae Young play on and throw alleys and shoot almost half-court type shots. Right. So, last year coming in there, seeing State Farm Arena filled with orange, that would amaze me last year, And then when you watch the tournament last year, it's like we had a morning game, but we the one who filled the crowd out. We had the best game, that even though it was that morning, we had the best fans. We had twice as much as any other fans that came, that any other team that played that day. But I just expect our fans to show up again. This is gonna be a big game. Like I said, going against Penny Hardaway, I feel like he's one of those coaches who got swag about himself. He's confident in himself. He been through everything. He been through the NBA. He been through coaching. So it's like, why not try to get a win against Auburn?
Sure.
They're ranked 11. They're trying to get back on the map after losing 2 games. They usually be ranked starting the year off, but they're trying to get back on top. Get back in the top 25 or whatever the case may be. But going into it, you're gonna have guys on our team that's super excited to just step foot in State Farm Arena to get to play in front of their family, and that's in Georgia.
Yeah, you got to think Saturday will feel like a home game, like it did in this thing a year ago. Just kind of the geography, and sure, Memphis is closer to Atlanta than Nebraska, but it's still a haul, and just so many Auburn fans in Atlanta. And look, it's cheaper to go to this game, Zep, than it is to watch you guys in Auburn Arena. So, like, if you're not a season ticket holder, like, it's easier to watch you and just drive an hour and a half to Atlanta than to stay in town and watch you guys. So, do y'all talk about that at all? Just like how wild it is that the Auburn fan base. A lot of folks went out of the country to watch you guys play earlier this year, and they travel extremely well throughout the SEC. Do you guys talk about that in the locker room at all?
Oh, yeah. Sometimes we talk about it. We just talk about the dedication, and the hard work they put in, for us to be successful. A lot of people and a lot of teams they're never going to talk about, our fans make us who we are. Our fans give us that push that we need. Sometimes you need a push, not just in basketball, but in life.
Sure.
And as I look at it, I get my momentum from people that I love and people that, that's going to make sure I'm okay. And I look at Auburn family, like some people that motivate me, but some people that I got to have with me, to be successful. So it's like, I love Auburn family, and, with them traveling, I always thank them. Like, I'm grateful. I'm grateful for Auburn fans, because a lot of schools, you're not going to see a lot of schools, and a lot of people travel outside the country, travel 12 to 14 hours. We're going to bring it. We're going to bring orange, blue, or white. You're going to see it. So, that's a great thing about us. And, like I said, we're grateful. Without those people, we won't be Auburn. We won't be Auburn family. We won't be ranked number 11 without them. Sure. And I promise you we won't.
Right. Yeah. No, and what they've done on the home field, or the home court rather, has been kind of incredible what Neville Arena has turned into over the years. So, Zep, you guys obviously play Memphis and Atlanta this weekend. You come home and take on Georgia State. But then you guys go to the West Coast, out to LA to play USC, then up to Seattle to play Washington. Have you ever been to those two places before? And how do you expect that road trip to go?
Well, I've never been to Washington before. That's a little bit out of my range a little bit, but hey, it's always good for a first try. I've been to Southern California, but I believe those two are going to be some tough games. Our first true road games, even though it's on the break, but it's still a road game. It's something different, It's like 2 or 3 hours back, am I guessing? And
from Eastern time,
from Eastern time, those teams are going to want to beat us. I think those Pac-12 teams, right?
Both of them. Yep.
Both of them. So it's like, they didn't get a win, it'd be like quad 1 wins to them.
Right. They're
trying to get back on the map. Whether USC, the last 2-3 years, they've been ranked. The Washingtons, they've been trying to get back on the map. They need a win against a great program, the SEC program. Pac-12, no, the SEC is tough. So it's like, we have to come out with these wins.
Yeah.
It's like, or whether we beat USC, it's like USC going to want us to lose against Washington. Washington is going to want us to lose against USC. So it's like, we have to come out 2-0.
You guys play USC on a Sunday. It's 4:30 Central Time. It's 2:30 out there. Is it ever weird to play at like weird times like that? Like you guys aren't probably used to playing on a Sunday. Does that ever factor into anything, Zep?
Yeah, I'm really not used to playing on Sundays. But going into that week and that weekend, it's like, hey man, we're on the West Coast, man. I'm from the South, man. Let's get these 2 wins, man. Let's get back home.
Yeah, sure.
I'm not gonna lie to you. It's like, we gotta get these wins. We gotta come out with a win some type of way. I don't care if it's ugly, pretty, gritty.
No, just get the win. Get the win and come home. That's right.
And come home. I don't care what anybody say. It's tough to play on the road, especially being on the other side of the country. You far away from your family, from the fan. So you got to know it's going to be tough. You got to know.
Yeah. Quick turnaround, too. You play the 18th because of that. It's a Sunday instead of a Saturday, and then you play again on a Wednesday. So 18th to the 21st. That's quick. I assume y'all are staying out there, right? You're not flying back to Auburn, then flying back out to Washington, right?
Yeah. We're going to go from USC, then we're going to go right back. And then go right there and then fly straight to Washington, whatever the case may be.
Gotcha. Yeah, then you come home, you get a week off, and then SEC play starts when Florida comes to town. So it's about to get real, Zep, and you'll join us every week to talk about it every step of the way, my friend. Thank you so much, and best of luck with everything moving forward, bud.
Oh, yeah, thank you.
That is Auburn guard Zep Jasper as he joins us every single week here on the show. We'll be back tomorrow right here on Locked On Auburn.